Hi everybody and welcome to TNT. Hope you're well and hope you don't have a sinkhole out the front of your house. Tell you what, if you don't have a sinkhole out the front of your house, why don't you subscribe to the channel? I think that's fair. Now we are talking about projects today, hopefully projects that don't collapse under the weight of traffic. We've got a new government in Thailand. In fact, I think they get sworn in today officially, and it gives them a 4-month window in which to enact their policies. Now, a lot of the things that they're promising are sort of policies that were proposed by the last government and being carried over. Some have survived, some have sort of fallen off the top of the pile and off the table. So I thought I'd go through some of the main things that are going to happen infrastructure-wise around Thailand that are going to sort of stumble ahead, and perhaps some of the things that haven't. For example, what's going to happen with the land bridge project? We'll get to that, but we'll start with this article from The Nation. And this is nationthailand.com. I'm not sure why they say Anaton 1, but anyway, Anaton Cabinet sets 4-month agenda with transport projects in focus. And they say the Cabinet's going to play a key role in infrastructure investment over the next 4 months. And further down there, the Transport Ministry is expected to take centre stage. Now, living down here in southern Thailand, specifically Phuket for 12 years, or 2 years here in PHANG, but I've seen any number of projects proposed, debated, environmental impact statements paid for, and pretty much nothing happens. There'd be no other province that is so infrastructure deficient than Phuket, really. The number of tourists and the number of expats living on the island far surpasses the infrastructure available on many levels. Let's see if that's going to change. And one of the Deputy Prime Ministers and the new Transport Minister, Ratchakitprakarn. Now, if you've heard that name before, or if you even care, he used to be the Sports and Tourism Minister under the Prayut administration. And he says they've already pledged to push ahead with the Land Bridge Mega Project, an initiative first advanced under the former minister. Not correct. It was actually proposed officially back in 2018 by the then Transport Minister, and before that hotly debated and compared with the Kra Canal, and it looks like the Land Bridge project won that debate. So it looks like 3 rail projects are getting the go-ahead: Chumpon to Suratani, Suratani to Hat Yai, and then Hat Yai to Padang Besar in Malaysia. So pretty much double-track railway projects in southern Thailand to the land bridge, and it looks like there's going to be 4 phases. The first one ready in 2030, and the last one won't be ready until 2054. So they can wheel me across the land bridge on my wheelchair by that time. And then 3 expressway projects, 3 in southern Thailand: a Phuket Expressway, Katu to Patong, which is the Patong Tunnel. At least that one, I'll believe it when I see it. And then there's the Phuket Expressway, which would go from the airport through to Kok Kao and Katu. And then this Samui Expressway, some 37 kilometres. That's going to be the bridge from Don Sak out to the island of Koh Samui, about 37 kilometre bridge. And will, if it eventually happens, I suppose, replace the car ferry. And then in Bangkok, we've got the Chalongrat Expressway on the outer ring road, the Rama 4 elevated expressway, and the Sinakarin Sawanapum Expressway, and that's going to be about a 16-kilometre duplicated elevated road taking you from the city to Sawanapum Airport. But back to the land bridge at the moment. And this published in Bangkok Post yesterday, assurance sought on land bridge impact. And the theme of the article, tourism trade insists on minimal damage. And southern tourism operators want the government to ensure the environmental impact will be minimal if it intends to press on with the Land Bridge Mega Project. And the PM's vowed to proceed with the Land Bridge project that connects shipping routes between the Gulf of Thailand and the Andaman Sea with deep sea ports. But the Tourism Council points out that the land bridge would be located near popular diving sites such as Koh Tao in Suratani. Let's just check where that land bridge is going, and we can see on the left there we've got Ranong. It then meanders across the Malay Peninsula, finding Chumpon, where there'll be another deep sea port. And checking on the map, those 2 blue circles, one on the Andaman coast, the other on the Gulf of Thailand, and then quite close by you've got Koh Tao, Koh Phangan, Koh Samui and the Angtong National Park. which I think is one of the most beautiful bits of scenery there in the Gulf of Thailand. Not many people know about it. So plenty of key tourism assets that deserve protection there in the Gulf of Thailand. Let's see what some of the reaction is from the tourism associations there. And Anand Rampan, he's the president of the Chumpon Tourism Business Association. He says with a limited time frame of 4 months, the authorities should proceed with the environmental impact assessment, allowing local participation. And he said with advanced construction technology, the project can be executed in a way that minimises the impact on natural resources. Pretty sure that's going to be hotly debated in the next few months. But there are also 2 specific countries which I'm pretty sure are going to have their say as well. And we'll check on Google Maps the red line there showing that traffic would come from the Andaman Sea, go across the land bridge and then continue through the Gulf of Thailand and on into the South China Sea. At the moment all the traffic goes one way or the other. Say from the Andaman Sea they would go down through the Malacca Strait, past the port of Kuala Lumpur and then Singapore, the big one down the bottom there, one of the busiest ports in the world. And we go to this publication called The Edge Malaysia. This was published yesterday, down the bottom there. Thailand's Kra land bridge, a reckoning for Malaysia. And it says Thailand's decision to revive the Kra land bridge project marks a pivotal moment in Southeast Asia's logistic landscape. And framed as a solution to bypass the congested Strait of Malacca, the project promises faster shipping, regional connectivity and economic uplift for Thailand's southern provinces. But for Malaysia, the implications are far-reaching, posing both competitive risks and strategic opportunities. Now, there's 3 main ports in Malaysia down the Malacca Strait, and then of course there's Singapore. They're all going to be missing out to one extent or the other if Thailand goes ahead with this land bridge. And this article says Malaysia's vulnerability lies in its maritime infrastructure. The Strait of Malacca currently channels over 80,000 vessels annually. And it says the Kra land bridge threatens to divert a significant portion of this traffic, especially transshipment cargo bound for East Asia. And further down there, the economic impact is not merely about volume, it's about cascading effects on logistics, warehousing, customs revenue and employment. Some video there from Polaris Shipping Lines on their YouTube page. Now, how about Singapore? And this published in straitstimes.com. High costs likely for shippers that use proposed Thai land bridge project. And just before we go to some of his comments, I have to say over the last 3 or 4 years I have been a little bit surprised that we haven't heard more from Singapore and Singapore ministers about these various land bridges and canal projects in Thailand, given how they could majorly affect the whole Singapore economy. And while a proposed land bridge project cutting across the south of Thailand could shorten travelling time for some vessels, shippers will likely incur higher costs than sailing through the Malacca and Singapore Straits. That's from the acting Transport Minister. He says the exact time saving will depend on many factors. So, shipping firms need to consider the overall cost versus the benefits. And he notes it would bypass the Straits of Malacca, where a quarter of the world's traded goods pass through. And asked about its potential impact on Singapore's status as a global seaport, Mr. Chi noted that the Republic's key advantages are its connectivity and network effect, which need to be protected. The more people call at a particular hub, the more value there is to others in a network. Well, all very polite and Singaporean so far, but believe me, if the Thai government start digging holes and building this land bridge, the propaganda will certainly start. But what about that other big project that was proposed by the Paetongtarn government? Now, they were going to build entertainment complexes. What happened to that? And we're quoting the Asian Gaming Brief here. The headline, Thai Senate rejects casino bill, citing social and security risks. And the Senate's formally rejected a draft bill seeking to establish integrated entertainment complexes with casinos, citing risks to social stability, economic security and national safety. And the Prime Minister stressed that social development should avoid policies that could jeopardise social cohesion and national security, marking a clear departure from the previous administration. The last government, the Thai government, were proposing these entertainment complexes in some of the touristy areas around Thailand. But when you read through the articles, you get to the end and you see end casinos. They were sort of trying to get it in under the radar, under the guise of an entertainment complex. But it looks like the Senate has stepped in and they've, kiboshed the whole thing. A spokesperson for the Senate says legislation could cause long-term harm, including increased risk of money laundering and erosion of public trust. Any future attempts to legalise casinos should be subject to a national referendum to ensure broad public participation. And several senators criticised the bill for obscuring its primary purpose. They argued the casino is not a side feature, it was the core of the proposal, warning that passing such legislation under the guise of broader entertainment policy could undermine public trust and governance. Well, it certainly got the attention of the Hun family in Cambodia, specifically the current Prime Minister, Hun Manet, and his father, now the Senate President, Hun Sen. And they were quite aggrieved that the proposal for Thai casinos could undermine the casinos already established in Cambodia. And no suggestion at all that the casinos in Cambodia might be linked to money laundering and to some of the scam centres. But either way, the Shinawat family in Thailand seem to be very, very keen to establish casinos in Thailand, and the Hun family seem to want to protect their casinos in Cambodia. I'll sort of let you join the dots. So some vision there of the Sihanoukville casinos from Channel News Asia. So some projects in, some projects out. What do you think about the projects that they're going ahead with? What do you think about them dropping the idea of a casino in Thailand? Interested to hear your comments as always. Don't forget you can buy me a coffee. Please subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and we look forward to seeing you next time.